He's not what you'd call the Mad Hatter working in Wonderland, but he is a hatter extraordinaire, fashioning hats of virtually any kind. Before hats, however, he worked as a farrier, traveling the nation. From farrier to hatter, Bob Kuch is someone you should know.
Someone You Should Know is sponsored by First Light Home Care of North Dakota.
I wore a hat all my life.
And you ask any cowboy, you don't leave home without it. A father of 3, Bob Kuch spent much of his life working on his ranch near Hanover, North Dakota. Then he started to dabble more in farrier work, caring for horses' hooves and feet.
And I just did our own horses and a few other ones, and then pretty soon more people would talk me into it. And pretty soon, I guess I was probably in my late 30s, 40s when I started traveling.
Bob traveled hundreds of thousands of miles, traveling from Arizona to New York, Canada, and back to North Dakota. But between the travel and the physical demands of the job working on horses, he knew it was time.
The saddest day in my life was when I knew I had to quit and I had to say goodbye to my clients. That was the hardest day.
Bob moved to Bismarck, but needed something to occupy his time. Always interested in a good hat, he decided to get a job at Boot Barn.
I started out a long time ago. I'd do hats for my friends and for myself, my boys, and that's kind of how that got started.
Bob worked at Boot Barn for nearly 2 years when a new opportunity presented itself.
One day Kyle appeared on the scene and he said, well, let's make hats. So that's kind of how I got here.
That's when DDC Custom Hat Works was born, located in the newly owned Arrowhead Cleaners.
Come in and do whatever's necessary. If we're making a new hat or a client comes in to get a hat repaired and fixed.
Whether it be a cowboy hat or a fedora, making a hat is no easy feat.
You got to size it and shape it. It's got to be steamed. After it's steamed, then you start with the lining and the sweatband's got to be sewed in. Then we shape it. The last thing is to put the ribbon on.
There are a number of gadgets used to get the perfect fit.
This is the conformer. This is what's put on your head, and all these are adjusted so it's tight against your head.
If it's a quiet day, Bob says he can comfortably make a hat in 2 days. Some of his creations include a custom hat for Miss Rodeo, North Dakota, and he even made a hat for one of the characters in the movie Medora. Bob says he's open to making virtually any kind of hat.
If somebody comes in with an idea, I'm willing to give it a try.
And if you don't have a style in mind, leave it to Bob to come up with the perfect creation.
See, I could make a nice fashion hat for you that'd look real good.
He doesn't only spend time making new hats. Margaret Sackman says Bob can take an old beaten hat and bring it back to life.
I brought in 3 of my dad's cowboy hats. My dad wore cowboy hats all the time. And Bob, when he came in, he actually had my son come in and fit him so he could actually wear it, and he is proud to wear it. So
Margaret's hat is one of many he's revived since he started.
We made him a new hat, and he was wearing a hat that was a total mess. And I said, why don't you just leave that here? I said, I don't know how much I can do with it, but I think I can make it look pretty good.
Just how good?
It's about 75% anew, and it was destroyed.
Finally, one of Bob's most recent additions is branding. He's got over 100 brands available, taking his little branding iron to an old practice hat. So day by day, Bob creates, cleans, and repairs hats and has no plans to stop anytime soon.
I think the day I give up on this world will be the day I can't put my boots and hat on.
Bob Kuch, Happy Hatter, is someone you should know.
And if you would like to stop by to see if Bob has a hat idea for you, or if you just have a hat that could use a refresh, stop by his shop, DDC Custom Hat Works, located inside Arrowhead Cleaners in Bismarck. And if you think there's someone we should know like Bob, you can fill out our nomination form at kxnet.com. And Stone, I said we were talking about that fedora. You and Paige talk about the fedora, but
well, I don't talk about it. She
Paige
does.
always brings it up. Yes.
I was gonna say, everyone else talks about the fedora. I'm not
I think it'd be a
talking
good
about
look for you. I said maybe we'll get you a
I don't
fedora
think so.
for a
No.
one-time photo op, but today might not be a day to wear a fedora with some of those winds.
I was going to say, most of your hats may blow away into that wind that we do see for already starting this morning into the afternoon.